everybody. Welcome. Welcome to my weekly live chat. Let me just get situated here. Hey there, Mary here from Mary's Heirloom Seeds, and welcome to my weekly live chat here on YouTube. Every week, or at least almost every week, I try to share some helpful information. I try to answer some of the questions that have been asked of me throughout the week. Some of them are frequently asked questions. Some of them are new topics. Hey, Linda, thanks for joining me. So if you're just joining me for the first time, welcome. If you're joining me as a regular, welcome back. Now, I'm not going to go full-blown detail into the ins and outs of everything garlic because the last few weeks I've already shared quite a bit of information. If it's fuzzy, please let me know. I'm being told that it's a little fuzzy and I apologize. We're a little rural out here, so we don't get the best connection. This is going to be a short video because last week I already explained preparing your garden beds for garlic. And today I just wanted to share kind of some of the answer some of the questions that have been asked this week. So in the description section of this video, you will find my comprehensive planting guide. It is really dusty. My allergies are kicking my butt right now, so I apologize if I'm a little stuffy. In the description section of this video, you will find my comprehensive planting guide. You will find links to the 2 garlic videos that I've already done specifically on how to plant. When I'm live, I don't have a moving camera to help me actually physically plant the garlic and so that you can see it. So I'm a little more stationary when I'm live, but in the description section, like I mentioned, I already shared 2 videos that I already did a couple years ago, specifically on how to plant your garlic. If you ordered garlic from me, I included a printed sheet for you to grow your own garlic. I also sent out an email a couple weeks ago to help you grow an awesome bed of garlic. Now, one thing is, how much garlic should we plant? And now I read somewhere someone said 15 plants per person in your family. That is not enough for me. So I plant quite a bit more, but I wanted to kind of expand on that and how much garlic you actually get. So these are the same bags that I shared in my last video. I have my 5-gallon tote that I'm going to be planting a couple in, and I'm going to share with you specifically how many cloves of garlic you can plant in that. But I wanted to share with you, as I was doing my live video last week, I pulled a bunch of cloves and I didn't count them, but there were a lot. There are anywhere from 8 to 15 cloves per bulb of garlic, and every single one of those cloves can produce a whole nother bulb of garlic. So that means one of these might be enough for one person if you don't eat as much garlic as I do. But some of these cloves can have up to some of these bulbs can have up to 30 in them, and that's quite a bit, and that's a little more what I'm looking for. Now, when you are planting your garlic, and I have shared this in previous videos, when you plant, this is a clove, and the bulb was what I just had in my hand. When you plant your garlic, my instructions suggest that you do a couple things. One, that you leave some of the paper on. And again, if it's a little fuzzy, I apologize. Please let me know if you're watching and if it's fuzzy or if it's clear for you. And if you haven't, hit that thumbs up and subscribe to our channel, please. So this clove is what you're going to plant. You want to leave some of that paper on. And one of the great things you can do is you can soak it in kelp tea before you plant it. I do it for 2 hours. This kind of helps cleanse it, and it also helps, it gives it a little bit of a boost. It's a little bit of fertilizer, but it's not a high nitrogen fertilizer typically. I make kelp meal tea, and then I also have a super kelp that is like a water soluble powder that you can add to water. And I meant to bring out a big gallon of it to show you, but I didn't make it ahead of time. I'm not planting my garlic yet, and that's my next step. You want to plant your garlic anywhere from 1 week to 6 weeks prior to your first frost for the year. Your first frost is your fall frost. So my estimated frost is approximately November 15th. That means I'm going to be planting quite a bit of garlic this weekend. I've already prepped a bunch of my beds. I did share, sorry, hang on just a second. I'm out here with all the wild wilderness here. I want to make sure there wasn't something sneaking up on me here. Oh, I think I might have missed some of your comments. Hi, Inga. Hi, Rosalind. I'm so sorry. I didn't see any of these comments before. Robin is in Santa Barbara. Grammy's in Washington State. Mostly clear. Thank you. Thank you so much. Can you use fish emulsion, Linda? Again, I'm so sorry. I did not see any of these comments. That's one of those things with going live is it doesn't always pop up for me. So yes, you can use fish emulsion. You really want something that is a light, a gentle, you don't want something super high in nitrogen. So if your fish emulsion is very strong, I highly recommend diluting it before you soak it. And again, it's only 2 hours. Don't soak it overnight. You might end up with some funky fish garlic sludge, and you really don't want that either. So you want to do, if you do a soak, you just do it for 2 hours. And again, it's not something that you have to do. It's just something you can do. Rosalind says, kind of off subject, any tips for leaf miners? I use Dr. Bronner's soap and water. It isn't something that's necessarily going to kill your plant, so I tend to just leave it most of the time. Sorry, I'm out here by myself, and there's creepy creepers out there. I can hear a bunch of weird noises. Sorry, again, off subject. So leaf miners, you can just use soapy water. You don't need anything fancy. You can also use, sometimes I've used, it's just soapy water spray with a little bit of neem oil. But if you do that, you really have to be careful because neem oil can still, and soapy water can still affect beneficial insects in your garden. And if you use oil like neem oil, it can burn your plants if you do it in the middle of the day. So you really want to do something like that at night. All right, everybody. Grammy says, don't get a wild animal sneaking up on you. I know, actually sometimes there's chickens in our woods, which is totally fine. Not the mushroom chicken of the woods, but actual chickens. So I don't mind those at all. They are definitely great pest control. Anyway, so back on topic here of garlic. When you plant your garlic, you want to plant the pointy side up. So this bottom part here, I don't know if you can see that very well. Maybe you can, maybe you can't. Nope, sorry. So the bottom part is what comes off of the garlic. So let me show you real quick. This is your garlic bulb. And this bottom piece here, you can see this is where it was at the bottom. So the pointy side comes up. You're going to want to plant these 2 inches deep and approximately 4 inches apart. Now you can plant these a little closer. I have seen people recommend and have had success actually growing 16 per square foot. So if you're using the raised bed like a square foot garden method, I have seen where people have been successful in growing them 16 per square foot. For me, that's a little close. I plant more like 12 in a square. And again, it just depends on where you are and how you grow and how you're comfortable growing. In this 5-gallon tote, it's a 5-gallon grow bag. I mentioned it in my last video. If you missed my last video, I highly recommend checking it out because there was a lot of great information on preparing to plant your garden. So this is kind of the next step in it, and we're actually going to plant the garden. So we're talking about planting the garlic, and in the video, in the description section, I've shared the links. I have a raised bed behind me here. That's going to be great to grow garlic. It is undisturbed. I'm not going to get any kind of traffic. Like I don't have to dig it up or move it around or anything. This is going to be a long-term bed here, and this is against the fence here. We do have wildlife back there, but generally garlic is not disturbed by rabbits or deer, probably because it's pretty stinky. Inga says, I planted mine 6 to 8 inches apart as I heard that they grow bigger that way. Yes, absolutely. Oh, hang on just a minute. You said Tote Lady didn't get back to me either. Maybe I will email her. Definitely email her. I know she was taking a little bit of a break that weekend from social media, because sometimes it gets a little overwhelming as a small business owner. Always working all the different social media avenues. People ask a lot of questions. I prefer an email usually, because I can get back to you a little faster. Anyway, so like I said, I have seen people say that they've had success doing every like 16 per square foot, and I don't do that. It just seems too close together, and it doesn't allow them, like Inga said, it doesn't allow them to grow. And yes, you can sometimes have a larger bulb if you give them a little more space, because this little clove here might produce that big bulb that you just saw, and you really want to give them room to grow. If you are growing in containers, you really want at least 8 inches. I recommend a little more. Inga says, yeah, I'm fine. I figured that eventually she'll get back to me. Hey, Christine, thanks for joining me. So in this container, I will probably plant about 12. I'll see how it goes. Like I said, you want to plant them 2 inches deep. You want to give them plenty of room to grow. This is a 5-gallon grow bag. I have a larger grow bag that I'm definitely going to plant garlic in as well. And super simple, guys. It's so easy. So you take your garlic, you optional, you can soak it in fish emulsion or kelp meal. I prefer kelp meal because it's just easy and I always have it on hand. We have something called super kelp, and that is a water soluble option as well. Sorry guys, I'm just trying to read all the comments here. And like I said, this isn't going to be a long video because in the description section I already have 2 videos where I'm physically planting, and I just wanted to come on here and kind of give you a little bit of an update now that a lot of people already have their garlic and maybe you had some questions to ask about your garlic. And anyway, so this is I don't always go live here at this spot. I usually go live in the large garden that's fully fenced instead of this one that has a short fence. And we do have wild hogs here, so I do get a little nervous every now and then. So I did want to share with you something that I didn't bring up. I did bring it up, but I didn't show you a lot. And that was the German red. We do have some garlic still available, not a lot. Alan says the vampire is staying away. Hope so. So this is a hardneck, and you can see it has that the hard piece in the middle, and that's where your scape comes out. So if you are planning on growing hardneck varieties, think about that in advance because you'll hopefully get some scapes from it. And then this is the inside of it that you can see. That's where the hard neck comes from. So that's how that's going to work. Now I'm going to read a couple of the tips that I have on here. So northern gardeners, once you plant, you should mulch heavily with straw, for example, for overwintering, because you don't want a heavy snow over your garlic. So you do want some mulch. You can use straw. It's super easy. Rosalind says, can you grow hardneck in Texas? Yes. So one thing that I mentioned in my last video last week was I found, hey David, thanks for joining me. I found that I grew hardneck and softneck here, no problem. They both did really well. If you're in an area like that gets cold, say like David, I think you're in Maryland if I remember correctly, it gets cold there. So the hardneck varieties are recommended for your area. If you're in South Florida or Central Florida, it gets hot there. So you want to plant a soft neck variety. Soft neck varieties tend to do better in the cold. In Texas here, we are zone 8. I'm in East Texas, Ben Wheeler, Texas. So I grew hardneck and I grew softneck. I will say this, the elephant garlic did not do that well here. Maybe it was just the soil that we're just getting started out here. We've only been on this property a little over a year, so I didn't have the same type of built up healthy soil that I did in my previous garden. So I will say I will maybe try it again. Anthony says, I'm looking forward to planting all the garlic I got from you. Thanks for the info. I'll be doing the kelp meal tea soak. Awesome, very cool. You said all the bulbs look and smell great. I know, it's so yummy. David says, you're in Maryland. It was upper 30s and 40s the other day. Okay, so I had to put my hair up today. It is hot. I've just been thinking that one of these days, soon it's gonna get cool out, but it's still in the 80s here. It was like 92 the other day when our air conditioning went out. Fortunately, we had an amazing guy come out and help fix it for us. So I just keep thinking it's gonna get cooler, and then it's time for garlic. So November 15th approximately is my estimated frost date. Last year, the actual frost date, I believe, was November 22nd. So I still have plenty of time to plant my garlic. You want to get your garlic in the ground before the ground is frozen. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean before your first frost, but it is a good idea to use that as your measuring tool for when you need to plant. It's anywhere from 1 to 6 weeks before your frost date. And your first frost date is your fall frost date. Rosalind says, I'm in Austin, almost 90 degrees today. Yep, it's pretty warm out today. So I'm looking forward to some cooler weather. So garlic means cooler weather. It means fall planting. It means maybe a sweater every now and then. So, all right, so if you have any questions, I'm Mary at Mary's Heirloom Seeds. You can always send me an email. My personal email is mary@marysheirloomseeds.com. If you have any questions, you can always send me an email. You can send me a Facebook message, but like I said, an email usually is a little easier for me. I was talking about mulch. Mulch should be removed in the spring for my northern gardeners that once the snow starts to melt, you can push that mulch away a little bit and allow those garlic to come through. You want to cut off your scapes as they come up and eat them, use them, because the more you allow the scapes to form, the less energy that garlic has to produce garlic cloves. You also don't want to harvest too early. So that all that information is in my garlic planting tips. I've got a lot of great information. We typically plant in late October and we harvest in July. So it does take quite a long time. You definitely don't want to plant, definitely don't want to start pulling up your garlic in spring when it's just getting started. Weeds aren't usually a problem until spring for the northern gardeners because you've got snow. So that shouldn't be a problem. And you do want to fertilize once you see some greenery popping up. So for us, my garlic usually starts to grow in the wintertime. So we get a little bit of snow, we get a little bit of sleet. I learned what sleet was this year. It was pretty fun to see, but maybe not fun to drive in. So you want to make sure that it is protected. Over here, we didn't have any problems. We didn't get a heavy snow, so I didn't really have to worry about too much mulch. I didn't have to have a heavy mulch. So that's one thing to consider depending on where you are. Anyway, everybody, I hope you enjoyed my short and sweet video. I just wanted to come on and give you a little bit of an update. And now I'm going to get back in the house and make a tea for my allergies today because it's been a little funky. And my friend said they're cutting hay around us, not here, but in the area in general. So that might be part of it. David says, what kind of NPK does garlic need? I use the Mountain Flower Root Boost, which I believe is a 462. You don't want something very high in nitrogen. You want something with more phosphorus than nitrogen. So keep that in mind. I'm pretty sure that's in my in the email that I sent out. But like I said, you definitely don't want high nitrogen because nitrogen gives you beautiful greenery, but not necessarily healthy root growth. You want that phosphorus and calcium for good root growth. All right, everybody. That's it. If you have any questions, send me an email. My email again is mary@marysheirloomseeds.com. I will try to go live here again next Thursday, and I will try to hopefully be able to breathe a little better. And maybe it won't be 90 degrees out, so we'll have a little more time outside. Inga says it's ragweed season 2. That is what's killing me. So we have some beautiful goldenrod here, and I haven't checked for ragweed, but that might be a possibility as well. Anyway, you can hear I'm a little, maybe not, I'm a little gravelly in my voice. Anyway, that is it for me. If you have any questions, send me an email. And like I said, in the description section of this video, you will find links to my comprehensive planting guide, my email sign up, the 2 previous videos that I did. I showed you how I made the kelp tea and how I soaked them and how I used it in the garden. And you can always reach out if you've got any questions. Thanks for joining me, everybody, and happy planting.